Welcome to another episode of Marketing Tomorrow. I'm your host Max.
Leon.
Today we'll be talking about emerging technologies within the future of marketing.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many upcoming things like we've been hearing about. Obviously, just to list some: quantum computing,
Yeah, AI,
blockchain,
VR, AR,
robotics,
machine learning,
autonomous cars, 3D printing,
the Internet of Things.
the internet of things. There's so many.
Like, there's so many to discuss and talk about.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and today we're just going to be going through a couple, listing our thoughts, kind of seeing what things are already being incorporated into businesses
and how it will look for the future of marketing.
yeah. Yeah, so the first one we'll talk about quantum computing, right? What do you reckon?
Well, I'm not too familiar with the term. Do you want to sort of explain it?
Yeah, I mean, so to my understanding, quantum computing is a revolutionary system that analyzes massive data sets and complex problems faster than classic computers.
Right, I think I understand, yeah.
Yeah.
So what, could that be used in sort of like logistics and transportation?
Yeah, so it's already being used by DHL and Volkswagen.
Oh, right. How are they using it?
To streamline their supply chains
Right, okay.
and kind of optimize their logistics a little bit.
So would it sort of like program more efficient routes that the delivery drivers could be taking?
Yeah, that's quite literally it. So DHL are actually using it to explore new algorithms to better map out the route of their delivery drivers to save fuel and have less carbon emissions.
So is it just a supercomputer, really? Just a computer that works faster than a normal computer?
Yeah, so they'll give it their problem and they'll provide all of the data associated with it, and it will come up with a solution. I think it's that simple.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I think they have to analyze the data.
So could marketing companies incorporate that as well?
Yeah, I'm sure they could. Like we said, it's streamlining their process, so it's saving them money as a
Making
company.
processes more efficient.
Exactly, yeah. And
I mean,
Volkswagen are using it in Beijing as well, actually, to make
right.
their taxi services more efficient.
That makes sense. So they're just a couple of ways that it's being started to be used.
Yeah.
I'm sure it could be used in like other stuff as well, like other sort of tech companies in like sort of medtech, biotech. They'd be able to do it for research and stuff like.
Yeah, I mean, Pfizer is exploring quantum computing models about protein folding. I'm not in that profession.
I'm not a scientist.
I'm not a scientist. How it can be used in marketing, obviously advanced customer segmentation.
Right.
So, better streamlining.
Crunching the data.
Crunching the data, yeah. Better ad placement, so, when to post ads, when to, where to put them, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Obviously real-time data, so if a company wanted to kind of see where they're lacking maybe in their marketing, they can get real-time data and analyze it on the spot and figure out where their areas of weakness are.
A lot of companies will be able to just find out more information about their customers at a more efficient way.
Yeah.
Maybe remove certain roles within the job, allow them to focus more on other sides of the marketing.
Yeah, I mean, there'll definitely be some employees losing their jobs.
Yeah, probably. I mean, leading on from that is that it will create more jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a number of these emerging technologies that we're going to be talking about could be linked to people losing their jobs and sort of making the workplace more competitive and making people need these more new skill sets in AI and in computers. I think it's probably the most common emerging technology that companies are using, and that is VR and AR.
Yeah. I mean, we spoke about how Nike and IKEA are using it in their apps to show customers, products in real time, in their space, in their homes, to get a better understanding of, how it looks.
There's also watch brands as well that are using it.
Yeah.
Where you can put the watch on your wrist and sort of see.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
When I applied to university, they actually had a augmented reality built into their site where you could like view the university. You could sort of like
Hertfordshire University?
Yeah,
Really?
You could just like sort of using AR go around the campus and sort of view different parts of the campus. So I know in in real estate and agriculture. There's a lot of different ways that companies can use in VR and AR in them. People want to have a look at a variety of options when they are choosing somewhere to go to university, like the example I said, or even in residential properties. Being able to look around houses using AR and being able to look through a number of them will really be able to offer the customer more insights and give them those options.
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting that, you know, we've spoke about more companies using it, not just, you know, product side, like we said, for universities, for customers to kind of, or even consumers, anyone, to just see, you know, where they're going to be at, obviously with the real estate and the university. But do you reckon VR will ever become a mainstream marketing tool, or is it a mainstream marketing tool, like in today's day, or will it stay more of a niche?
I think it will stay more of a niche. The Apple Pro came out and that almost disrupted the VR industry because it was VR, but you can still see outside, so it's like tainting the vision of what you can see.
Both,
mixing both. But again, like that's priced really high. It's like $3,500 or something, and that's not going to become common to own because of the barrier to entry and to own these sort of devices.
I mean, to play devil's advocate at that, like, I'm sure if you went back however many years, you would have said that iPhones or smartphones wouldn't have been a mainstream thing to have.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I'm sure when my parents were growing up, it was just, you know, the wired phones in the house phone, that was it.
Yeah, I feel like the whole idea of people walking outside with a headset on and just doing their daily activities, I find that very dystopian.
Yeah.
But just like you said, like I'm sure our parents still walking around with smartphones or listening to calls or on their phones.
Completely like driven into your phone every single day. Like we wouldn't have expected it however many years ago, but that's the reality.
Concerts, everyone's just on their phone recording. Trains, if you look down a train, everybody's on their phone.
Yeah.
Our parents' generation and their parents' generation would never expected that.
Nah, I mean, I'm a victim to it too in today's day. Like I'm on my phone way too much.
Yeah, tracking the screen time.
Yeah. But like we said, that's just how in 2024 the culture, you know, of the world. So maybe in 2072 it will be VR.
It could be.
It could be headsets. It could be.
There'll be new emerging technologies to be talked about. VR will be a
Apple Pro will be extremely outdated.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
It'll be maybe what Mark Zuckerberg's doing with his glasses. You know, his meta glasses where you can kind of does the same thing, but in glasses. It might be something.
I'm not sure if you've seen Ray-Bans, but they've collaborated with Meta, so you can ask, you can say, "Hey Meta, capture this moment," and in the glasses there's a camera and it can record, it can take pictures, and that's just in sunglasses.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're going to start incorporating all these different technologies into just our daily apparel, like glasses, clothes. So another emerging technology that is, to me, actually the most interesting one and the one that kind of excites me the most, and it's the Internet of Things. Yeah, so that's that can apply to a lot of different sort of household items and different products. For example, Samsung Smart Fridge. Yeah. This is a new device. So basically, the fridge will have a screen on it. It'll be able to tell you the expiration dates of the food that are in there. You'll be able to see what products are in the fridge from your phone, like if you're out of the house. And the marketing side of this is the bit that actually excites me the most, is that there will be targeted ads on the fridge, like on the screen, for like products and food that you might like. So say it knows that you stock a lot of chicken, then it might give you, and this is a complete example, like a KFC ad. That's like just an example.
Right. So do you think IoT is enhancing the customer experience?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, talking about obviously the Samsung fridge, like I wonder if it will develop into a thing where you might be able to put recipes onto maybe an app and it will tell you what you've got in your fridge, you know, you need to go out, you need to buy onions, you need to buy chicken, whatever, you need to buy fucking peppers.
Exactly. I think the customer experience will change massively because the amount of time you're going to save. The amount of times I've gone out shopping to get food, and I don't know if what food I've got in my fridge. I didn't look in my cupboards, I didn't look in the fridge. I don't know, so I don't know whether to buy it or not. Using a more smart fridge, you'll be able to look on the app and be like, oh yeah, like I need this, I need that, I need this. And you'll be able to buy it there, so it saves you so much time. You won't need to create a shopping list. That whole part of it will just be gone. Obviously, we probably not ordering loads, but I can imagine for a lot of mothers, they're going to be or family households. When they do long shoppings, then it's going to save so much time.
Nah, for sure. I mean, do you reckon it raises a little bit of privacy concern? Obviously, less with fridges. Like I'm not concerned about what's in my fridge, but
yeah, I mean, if they don't like the brand, then they just don't have to shop with them.
Yeah.
If they don't like the idea of their data being tracked by a fridge, then they just don't need to buy a smart fridge.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it could even people could contribute that data to more like the basket of goods. I don't know if you know about that.
I'm not too sure about that.
So it's how they calculate inflation. Yeah, it's the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index, where they get a basket of goods of about 150 products of the most commonly bought products in the UK. This changes sort of every year. They always take a few out and add a few in. But this would be a great way that data could be tracked. So now it's done through surveys.
Yeah.
If you just contribute your data from the fridge, then
then they'll know.
They'll know what's being bought the most.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that at all. Yes, I mean obviously the Fitbit and the Samsung fridge, like there are some examples, but a more common one we know of is Alexa, right? And
of course.
Apple Pod. I think they've got an Alexa version.
Yeah,
now,
and Google have got one as well.
Google have got one as well. Yeah, but these kind of things, they're constantly listening to you, aren't they? Like it's been proven. Like,
well, they have to for them to hear you say, "Hey Siri," I know, for example, for Siri, for them to hear you say that, then it's got to always be listening. It's always got to be listening out. It's always got to be listening out for those keywords, and if it's always listening out for those keywords, then it's always listening, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, like, obviously, that makes me feel a bit uneasy about what they're hearing, whether it's being tracked or whether it's being listened to by anyone.
I mean, I'm sure you've had it where you'll be talking about you're hungry and you fancy a pizza, and then your first ad on Instagram is pizza.
It's creepy and
it's a bit strange.
I mean, that's where we're at as consumers, right? We don't know whether it's a coincidence or not, and that's kind of scary,
Yeah, I feel like that sort of stuff should be made more clear to us as a consumer.
Yeah, there's definitely some GDPR problems when it comes to that kind of thing, but
am I going to stop buying iPhones?
Nah, exactly. Unfortunately, it's kind of a bad mindset for us as consumers to have. Like, if a company like Apple wants to they can do whatever they want with your data. Exactly. Thankfully, Apple is more of a trusted company, but if they wanted to, they could. Do you know what I mean?
They can implement that sort of technology where they can just track that sort of data.
They can. They might be.
They could tell me that they're going to do it as well, and I'd probably be like, I agree, just because I don't want an ad.
Just be in small print in a massive document.
Yeah.
And as consumers, we don't look at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
obviously,
exactly.
They're protected by it because it is in front of us. We can read it if we want to. But then half the time, if you say no to some of these things, like I've been on websites and I've said no to cookies, for example, and it's not allowed me to continue on the website.
Yeah, I mean, following on from cookies and sort of these long terms and conditions, we could bring up AI as an emerging technology, and how AI could fast track, read all of these terms and conditions and give you the sort of summary of the notes of it. So before where you'd have to read all of these different pages, AI could just break it down and let you know sort of what the terms and conditions are and how your data is being used.
Yeah, I mean, it's a simple way of kind of like Apple were coming out with their own AI embedded in their phone. Obviously, iOS 18, I believe. It's not out yet.
Yeah, what's it called?
I think it's Apple AI.
Apple Intelligence.
Apple Intelligence.
Oh yeah, because they're just playing. It's still called AI. It's Apple Intelligence.
Yeah, it's quite smart.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's an example of is the AI just going to be viewing your phone the whole time? Is that how it's going to work?
Is it going to be all the other Apple products going to be incorporated?
Yeah.
Say the MacBook, AirPod, Smart TV. Are they going to be using the data from all of that to work with the AI?
Yeah, exactly. Like the HomePod and obviously maybe AirPod Max. And is it going to link to then Apple Music? They've got the Apple ecosystem is so vast that the amount of data they can kind of take in just as a company, and they could be taking the data we just don't know about it. You know what I mean? They could just be, storing it
And using all this data, it means that they can personalize their ads to us a lot more. Sort of, after grabbing all this data, they're going to know all of our buying habits. They're going to know what we're viewing, what we're watching, the content we're consuming.
Yeah.
They're going to know all this, so they know how to target us with ads that we're more likely to buy.
Yeah, and we touched on that last week.
The personalization of adverts using AI in stuff like email marketing is really enhancing sort of the customer experience for what they're viewing and what the ads that they're being targeted towards them.
So if you want to hear more about that, then check out our last episode.
Yeah, Marketing Tomorrow. So the last sort of emerging technology that I want to talk about is omni-channel marketing.
Yeah.
So I think this is a strategy that ensures sort of the customer experience is consistent throughout brand campaigns. So across their different sort of platforms like their websites and social media, their brand message needs to remain the same sort of throughout all their different marketing channels.
Yeah, so kind of what? So it's making sure that a brand's identity is consistent through all of the channels all their touch points that customers are interacting with. So
yeah, so it's different to multi-channel marketing, which would be sort of different per channel. This means that the overall, so whether they're doing a TV advert, an advert on YouTube, just their website, it's all the same. That it's the same message across all of the different channels.
Right, and what is that? That would be consistent through online and in store.
Yeah, online and in store. So it could be through the customer journeys, could be behind the scenes and sort of more inventory tracking.
Right. What? So Apple would be a good kind of example for that. I mean, I know me personally, whenever I've seen an Apple ad, it's been extremely directed. You know, I've not gone out and looked for it. I've not been walking through a city and seen a poster, for example.
Yeah, exactly. And AI can really help with the omni-channel marketing, as they can enhance the personalization.
Exactly. Yeah, like we spoke about last week.
So ensuring that the brand message remains consistent, they can also tailor it to the customer. When before they might have been able to only tailor it to demographic, now they can, using AI and personalization, they'll be able to tailor it to the customer as a person, as an individual.
Yeah, I mean that seems only like a good thing to me. I like it personally as a consumer when a brand's message and kind of overall identity is consistent all the way through. I don't want to be seeing completely different messages.
Exactly.
Wherever I am.
That is the implication of it. A brand that is going for omni-channel integration, if they don't keep it sort of consistent, then they'll go from 100 to 0.
Yeah.
They will lose the appeal to the customer if they strive away from the message.
What they're known for, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like with Apple, if Apple, their message is very clean brand that can slick brand that can do everything. If they started putting loads of like graphics and images and colours and all that sort of stuff, I'm gonna start getting confused about what their sort of message actually is.
This doesn't look like the Apple we know.
Exactly. Yeah. It's gonna confuse the customer.
Exactly, yeah.
And also with Apple, their digital presence will be the same as their in-store presence.
Yeah.
So I know that there are features where you can buy or customize a device online and then go into the store and pick up the product.
Yeah.
The store and the website have very similar colours and styles, and the branding is very similar across both. So when the customer goes into the store after being online, they can match them together.
Yeah, they're already familiar with everything. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it makes sense. Omni-channel marketing. It's interesting. I didn't know too much about that.
Yeah. It's a great method that brands should be looking into to ensure that the customer doesn't stay confused and understands the brand. And the more they see the same brand colours and stuff, the more recognisable they'll be, the more familiar they are. And even if they don't like the brand, if they see that same branding 10 times, they're going to become familiar with it, and they're actually going to be more likely to shop with them just because of the familiarity with the brand.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Summarising this episode, which I think has been a great episode so far.
It's been good. It's been good.
I think, what is the emerging technology that excites you the most and why?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd probably have to say it's got to be AI. I mean, we speak about it every week, you know. It's
generative AI?
Yeah, generative AI for sure.
Using ChatGPT, DALL-E, Midjourney,
yeah, all of that. Like that, the applications of it are so it's almost unlimited. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's going to be so massive. It's going to be a tool that we just have. Do you know what I mean? How we grew up with smartphones and kind of that that new technology at the time. The next generation is going to be growing up with AI, learning with AI. It's going to be a tool in their pocket. It might be used day to day. Do you know what I mean? And it's only going to improve. So
I mean,
I'm excited for that.
Generative AI is starting to be used in adverts and advertising campaigns. I know that Coca Cola do it with their Create Real Magic campaign. It's like one of their recent ads. It received some backlash, but I think that's from people that just ain't adjusting to the new technology. I think it's great that brands can be able to use generative AI in their campaigns.
Yeah, it will possibly. I mean, one place I can almost definitely see it going is in cars.
Yeah.
You know?
Self-driving cars.
Self-driving cars, but even just in the car itself, like, I'm not sure if you know about Mercedes, what kind of voice recognition.
You can talk to the car.
They've got just like Siri has a Hey Siri. They've got a Hey Mercedes, and then it speaks to you when you get in the car. But I can see that would be a great kind of an easy place to incorporate some AI. You know, if you're driving, maybe you're thinking about what you've got to do at work, maybe you're coming back, you're thinking, kind of brainstorming some things. You can talk to the AI through voice recognition and maybe jot some things down and be more efficient with your time.
Exactly.
But yeah, what about you? What do you think is what are you most excited for?
I think it's the VR and the AR side of businesses. I think being able to adapt your business to be able to incorporate VR and AR, it's going to enhance the customer experience. It's going to add more creativity to the brand and also keep the customer engaged with the brand. If they have some sort of VR or AR video they can watch or get involved with. I know Clash of Clans had a great VR sort of experience where you could be within the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and obviously it's keeping the sort of customer base engaged.
Yeah. I mean, we spoke about it last week a little bit. The whole Ready Player One concept. I'd love that.
Yeah,
I'd be excited. I think unfortunately it won't be in our lifetime.
Yeah, if they can develop the technology. So I have seen it where there are like floor pads where you can like run on them and it keeps you in the same spot.
Yeah, I've seen that little
clip of it.
Setups. Like
They got a headset attached to it.
Yeah, I've seen
thing.
that.
I'll put a clip on the screen of that.
Yeah.
And the direction that VR is going is something that definitely excites me. I think, the online world and having an online character in the metaverse would be
so interesting.
It's very interesting.
I grew up with kind of games. I'm very big on gaming, so that would be extremely cool for me personally. But
being inside of the game.
Yeah. I mean, this has been this episode of Marketing Tomorrow. Obviously, I'm not sure if you noticed, but we're in a different location today.
Yeah.
We're in Amsterdam.
Marketing Tomorrow gone international.
Yeah. Obviously filming from different locations worldwide. So
that's the sort of content we're here to make.
Exactly. And obviously, so this has been this episode on emerging technologies. No, is it emerging?
Yeah, emerging technologies. Hope it was educational.
Yeah, hope you learned something.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, if you're listening on Spotify, head over to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, head over to Spotify.
You know the drill by now.
Yeah.
And
I've been one of your hosts, Leon.
And I've been Max.
Marketing Tomorrow. We'll see you next time.
See you in the next episode.